Let's go through the warning signs. The other person is too good to be true. They are extremely attractive, wealthy, or successful and seem too perfect. 2. Their intention is to establish a relationship as quickly as possible, endear himself to the victim, and gain trust. Scammers may propose marriage and make plans to meet in person, but that will never happen. Eventually, they will ask for money. Eventually, they will ask for money. Okay? Number 3, they ask for money or personal information, especially early on in the relationship. Number 4, they refuse to meet in person or make excuses for not being able to meet. Number 5, if someone you meet online needs your bank account information to deposit money, they are most likely using your account to carry out other theft and fraud schemes. Number 6, they are highly trained professionals who are experts in creating highly validating narratives. Such narratives are able to gently groom their target. Hello and welcome to Kelly's Wordy Reactions. So today I wanted to come back in and just take another little break from our celebrity, what is it? Celebrity news and reviews, I guess you can kind of say it is. And go ahead and dip back into the world of romance scamming. So, as many of you already know, and some of you who don't, I started going down the rabbit hole of looking more so into romance scams and looking at the story of Shirley Strawberry and how her husband, Ernest Williams, or Nesto, or Ernesto, whatever you prefer to call him, looking at how their relationship turned out to be very much a scam, very much just a game to Ernesto, and definitely not. If you don't want to say it was a scam, if you don't want to say Ernesto was playing games, we all should definitely be able to agree that Shirley was taking the relationship much more seriously than he was. And she was more so looking at it as a real marriage, which we found out it wasn't. She was looking at it as a real loving relationship, which we have also found out it wasn't. She was looking at him as someone that she could trust and did trust and did lean on him and depend on him to do so many things in her life. And we found out that he completely betrayed that trust so many times over, that he was abusing his place of authority that she had placed him in, or become comfortable with him being in her life. And he was just about doing almost the most horrible things that you can do to somebody. And so that's where the relationship ended up showing itself to be. So once I became aware of what was going on with the phone calls from prison, which is really pretty much when I came in on it, I did hear that her husband was in jail, I'm going to say a little while back. I didn't look too much into it. I didn't think too much of it. I just knew that, he had gotten in jail, and it was, um, I think I'd heard a little bit about what it was about, but nothing, nothing has been quite as, I don't know, just gripping, um, as listening to these calls and just really getting a feel for the complete inner workings of somebody like him. Not really even so much like her. I know she suffered a lot of scrutiny behind saying a couple of little things about Steve Harvey and his wife, but really what is fascinating to me is getting this complete look as Ernest talks to Shirley, and then as Ernest talks to a mistress, as Ernest talks to a brother, as Ernest talks to a son. You really, you really begin to get a complete look of how he really feels and what he really thinks, what he's all about, as you start listening to him. And it all just ended up adding up to me um, as a total and complete con artist. Um, just somebody who's steeped in it, who's deep in it, who's true to it, not new to it. Like, this is a con man through and through. And he's a type of person that I used to always say you don't want to listen to too much. Let me tell y'all a little story about something that happened to me when I was in high school. I don't really know. I can't remember what year it was. I guess I would have been 16 when this happened. So, and I know that because I know where I was working, and I know when I was working there. So this is what happened to me. When I was in high school, I rode from my home into downtown. So I lived in a major city, and I lived far away from downtown. But how many city buses? I think, yeah. My one city bus from my house, though, it went all the way from my house to into downtown. And I can't remember if I think I did have to get off of that bus and then stand at a different bus stop and get the next bus that went to my high school. But like I said, I was in a major city, but I still lived in a part of the city that wasn't close to downtown. And I had to ride all the way into town and then get off and catch another bus. So at that connecting place, when I would get off and wait on the next bus, there used to always be, because that was kind of like the bustling, busy part of downtown and that makes sense because that's where a lot of buses stop. You can get on, off one bus and on another bus. A lot of, buses going in different directions from right there. So I'm on the bus one day. Now, keep in mind, I went all 4 years to this high school downtown. So I knew, I knew this game. And I knew that the game was a hustle. This is a game. I think it's called Shells or something. And these hustler these hustler guys, right? They would get on the bus all the time. I saw them all the time. I knew they were hustlers. I knew that this game was rigged. I knew all this, okay? I can't say that I ever saw how it worked. Excuse me. I cannot say I ever saw how it worked, but I saw, I knew that the game was rigged. I knew that they were doing some type of fast hand movement trick. I just knew it. And if I was 16 at this time, I started going to that school when I was 14, just a regular ninth grader, you know. I was there from the time that I started ninth grade. So I saw this game all the time. These guys would get on my bus regularly. They got on every bus because this is what they did. They get on the bus, they try to get somebody, um, that people were with them, but you didn't know that they were with them. Sometimes people would win, sometimes people would lose. Like this was the game. And but the hustle was to make people think that they could actually win. So I'm pretty sure that's how they had some people that they would sit there and play the game and actually win. And they knew this the hustle. You know how to do the hustle. If you're a hustler, you know how to do it. Like you figure out what works. You might not have a degree in psychology, but you know how to make the hustle work. So, like I said, I've seen this game. I've seen this game over and over and over. I know that like the regular person that's just on the bus does not win. I know this. But this one day, right? This one day, I thought, no, I didn't think anything first. I was on the bus and they got on the bus and they were moving the things around and saying, where do you think it is? And all that type of stuff. And I saw where the ball went this day. I saw the ball go there. I saw it, right? And I guess maybe I was um I don't know. I had a job, so I don't know if I felt like I was desperate for money. I don't know. But something made me want to say I saw where the ball went. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was just like I'm a get, like I know what I'm doing. I see what happened and I'm gonna participate because I saw it. So I don't know, maybe that's pride, maybe that's I'm a child and it was a game and I just got overly into it that day. Still trying to figure it out. I don't know. I mean, but I was 16. So it's disappointing to me to this day because I knew better. I knew better. And I told those men, I know where the ball went. And they asked me, okay, like you want to bet $40 on it? If it's under there, I'll give you $40. If it's not under there, you got to give me $40. And I did not have $40. I had a job, but that doesn't mean I had $40. But I was so confident. I was so sure that I saw where that ball went. And sometimes I think people get so confident and they get so sure that this is going to work. I just believe this is going to work. But you know better. You know better. There's things telling you know better. Just like I knew that those guys were hustlers. I knew that they brought people on the bus with them to let people win so other people could get entangled and want to play the game too. um just like just like you probably know, if you meet somebody and they a lifetime criminal, then you probably know that they're still a criminal. You know this. You know people that have gotten caught up. You've seen it, right? But I think maybe it is a bit of pride that tells you, I think I got this. I think I got this. I see what's going on here. I can do this. Man, I told that guy the ball is right there. It's under that one. And when he raised that thing up, and there was no ball under there. You could have bought me for a penny. You could have bought me. I was so shocked. I was so shocked. And I was sick instantly because I did not have $40. And I think even before, I can't remember exactly, but I had a beautiful, beautiful nugget ring that my mother had bought me for Christmas one year. And it was so pretty. I would love to have that ring to this day. I don't remember. Um, yeah, my mother had bought that ring for me for Macy's. I remember I had tried it on, and I just loved it so much, and I ended up getting that ring for Christmas. It was like a diamond cut nugget ring, beautiful band, just such a pretty ring. And I knew my mother paid, like, it was really expensive. And for us, for her, she was a single mother with me. I'm only child, and she was a single mother. So it's not like she just, had this great career or anything. She just had a job, and I was her only kid, and we just thugged it out together. But anyway, so either before I made the gamble or after that, I had bet my ring, or when I said I didn't have the $40, the guy said, "Well, let me have that ring right there then." I think that's what it was. I think when I said, "Well, I don't have $40," he was like, "Well, you got that ring right there. Let me have that." And then he tried to make me, feel like that I had to give him something. Now, this whole thing is illegal, right? But nobody is saying anything or standing up for me on the bus. No grown person is like helping me out or anything. So it's just me, it's just some hustling, dude, grown man, and me, the 16-year-old girl. And I took my ring off and handed it to him. But then I just got sick. I could not go home without that ring. And so they went, start getting up to get off the bus, because they did what they came to do. And I got up right behind them and got off the bus. And I was like, wait a minute. I cannot go home without my ring. I said, "Look, I have a job, okay? I can give you my phone number. I get paid on this day. I will give you the $40. But I cannot go home without that ring. My mama gave me that ring. I cannot go home. Please give me my ring back, please." And I remember he was trying not to give me the ring back. And I said, "Surely, you have a mama, you got a sister, you got a cousin, you got somebody." I said, "Please, can you please understand? I don't know why I did it. I'm telling you, I'll give you the money." I can, I can see myself downtown standing up there pleading with that man to give me. I can see myself right now in my mind's eye. I can still see it. And I remember specifically saying, "Surely you got a mama, you got a sister." I said, "Surely you can understand." I said, "Please, I cannot go home and tell my mama I do not have that ring. Please." I said, "You can call me. I promise you I'll give you the money." That man gave me my ring back. And when I tell people that story, I was telling somebody, my kids, I was telling somebody the story here recently, and they were like, "He probably gave it back because you were out there begging him, and he was probably scared, somebody was going to end up figuring out what was going on. And, that's illegal." The whole thing was illegal. He shouldn't have been doing it. But, yeah, I mean, nobody was coming to help me. There weren't any cell phones. Um, at that time. So I'm not young enough for a cell phone to have been a thing. So, it was just me and this con artist hustling dude, and, you know, me begging for my ring back. But the guy gave me my ring back. I never heard from him again. I gave him my phone number, and I told him where I worked. I had every intention of giving him the $40, but he never he never pursued it, and probably because he, you know, again was scared that he would get into some type of trouble, or I would have somebody waiting to beat him up or something. But little does he know, I didn't have a brother, I didn't have a dad, I didn't have anybody. But, you know, the Lord was on my side. The Lord was on my side. He was on my side. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about that because, you know, this whole mentality that you know, that somebody else is so crazy because they got scammed, and you know, the implication is that you couldn't get scammed. And I was 16, and you know, yeah, you could, like, you know, you could give me a pass for being 16, or you could not give me a pass for being 16, because I saw this not every day, but you can imagine this is a major city where this happens all the time. And I had already, my mother knew what happened. I had already been told the game. I saw the game. I saw other people lose their money sometimes. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was, when I tell you how ridiculous it is for me to have looked at that game that day and thought that I could uh, walk away with their $40. Totally nonsensical. But I did it. You know, people do it. Obviously, people do it. And so that's why I wanted to bring this series, is so, you know, I wish I would have found this scripture, because it really is so fitting. There's a scripture that talks about watching and praying so that a thing like this doesn't come on you. And I think sometimes people get so wrapped up in looking at somebody else that they kind of forget that they could be vulnerable too. Like, just because something hasn't happened to you does not mean that there isn't a way that something could sneak in and end up getting to you. It might not be just like this. It might be a little bit different. You know, it might come in a different way. And, you know, there's so many in life, there's so many different things that can happen. You know, there's so many different times in life, there's so many different circumstances of life. And you tell yourself that that could never happen to you. And the exact same thing might not happen to you, but it might sneak in another way. But you look up and the outcome is about the same, or maybe even worse. Or maybe it's worse for you because of how you are, you know, because some stuff doesn't even bother some people. But that particular thing that bothered them may not bother you, but something that gets to you could happen to you that somebody else didn't even think is hardly anything. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, because you know, we're looking at this in somewhat real time here. And I think there's real lessons that we can learn, and make sure that we've got the lesson good, make sure other people around us have the lesson good, make sure we're watching, and make sure that we are, if you're a praying person, make sure you're praying, because it's about you, but it's not just about you. It's about people that you're connected to. It's about people that make a difference in your life. It's about you maybe making a difference in somebody else's life. So we should be educated about what's going on. Matthew 26:41 says, "Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." All right, let's go ahead and get to the message on tonight. The article that I'm looking at. So the other article that I started out reading, if I want to continue to read it, I have to pay for a subscription to the New York Times, and I'm not ready for that right now. So I'm going with a different article, but this is still in our romance scam series. So this article is from March 11th, 2023, and I found it in the Sunday Guardian, and it starts out, or the title is "Broken Hearts and Stolen Identities, the Rise of Romance Scams." Okay, here we go. By Khushbu Jane. Okay. The rise of online dating apps has made it easier for scammers to find potential victims. Mumbai. Romance scam is that's the name of the romance scam. So Mumbai, romance scam is a type of online fraud that preys on people's emotions and their desire for companionship and love. These scams typically involve a perpetrator creating a fake online persona on dating websites, social media, or other online platforms to gain the trust of their victims and then deceive them into sending money or personal information. The rise of online dating apps has made it easier for scammers to find potential victims. The scammers will create a fake profile and use flattering messages and compliments to lure the victim into a false sense of security. Once the victim is emotionally invested, the scammer will start asking for money or personal information, claiming they need it for an emergency or to meet the victim in person. One of the reasons romance scams are so successful is because they rely on the victim's emotions, who are more likely to let their guard down and ignore warning signs. They use a variety of techniques to compel the victim to form intense emotional feelings for them. Stages, usually the scammer, it's kind of odd how they have this, but let's just keep going. Stages. Usually the scammer takes the victim through a number of stages prior to asking for any money. A. At a very early stage, the scammer declares their love for the victim and requests that their relationship move from the dating site to any instant messenger, phone, and email, stating they want an exclusive relationship with the victim. B. Thereafter, the scamster grooms the victim using online media, in particular to develop a close, intimate relationship with the victim. C. Communication is frequent and intense over periods of weeks, months, or even years. Okay, let's slow it down a little bit. So the first stage. At a very early stage, the scammer declares their love for the victim and requests that their relationship move from the dating site to any instant messenger, phone, email, stating they want an exclusive relationship with the victim. Okay, so this is the love bombing stage and the you know, let's be closer. Forget this site stuff. Let's use Messenger, um, and phones and emails and stuff like that, because we're close. Okay, and then B is the scamster grooms the victim using online media in particular to develop a close, intimate relationship with the victim. Okay, this pretty much kind of goes in with A. And then C, communication is frequent and intense over periods of weeks, months, or even years. Okay, lots of communication. Not necessarily seeing the person, but just the communication, the talking, the texting. All right, D, victims usually then self-disclose intimate secrets about themselves and develop a trusting relationship with the scamster. During the grooming stage, they fall in love with the scamster. Okay. E, towards the end of this stage, the scamster either wants to give gifts and take it through the process, and at the time of receiving, some amount is required to be paid as customs duty, which is not real. Okay, let's go over that again. Towards the end of this stage, the scamster, one, either wants to give gifts and take it through the process, and at the time of receiving, some amount is required to be paid as customs duty, which is not real. Two, either ask for gifts, which is perfume, mobile phone, stuff like that, as a testing the water strategy. Following the receipt of such gifts, the scammer will make requests for small amounts of money, which then accelerates to larger amounts of money. Sometimes this involves other characters being brought into the narrative, like a doctor might contact the victim telling them their loved one is in the hospital. Money might be requested to pay fictitious hospital bills or for airplane tickets. F, the fraud ends only when the victim learns they have been scammed and ceases to give money, or the scamster disappears from all the channels of communication. Ghosting. Consequences. Romance scams can have devastating consequences for the victim. No doubt that romance scams do more harm than just money loss. There are also significant social and psychological aspects to it. Not only can they lose money, but they can also experience shame and embarrassment for falling for the scam. Victims may feel like they have lost a chance at finding love or may have difficulty trusting others in the future. In extreme cases, some victims may become. Be aware of the warning signs. Okay. Ooh, that was a lot. Oh my, me oh my. Okay, if you need to, just play this back. I can't go back through it again. It's hard to think about somebody doing all this to somebody. But we got to look at it because we got to keep it from happening to us. Of course, it could never happen to you, not you. But let's keep it from happening from somebody that you know, somebody younger, somebody older, okay? All right. Let's go through the warning signs. The other person is too good to be true. They are extremely attractive, wealthy, or successful and seem too perfect. 2, their intention is to establish a relationship as quickly as possible, endear himself to the victim, and gain trust. Scammers may propose marriage and make plans to meet in person, but that will never happen. Eventually, they will ask for money. Eventually, they will ask for money. Okay? Number 3, they ask for money or personal information, especially early on in the relationship. Number 4, they refuse to meet in person or make excuses for not being able to meet. Let's go over that again. Number 4, they refuse to meet in person or make excuses for not being able to meet. Number 5, if someone you meet online needs your bank account information to deposit money, they are most likely using your account to carry out other theft and fraud schemes. One more again. If someone you meet online needs your bank account information to deposit money, they are most likely using your account to carry out other theft and fraud schemes. Number 6, they are highly trained professionals who are experts in creating highly validating narratives. Such narratives are able to gently groom their target. I'm going to go ahead and stop reading right there. I hope that you got some good takeaways here. So today, this reading is mostly focused on things coming from online, which we definitely need to know. I'm looking for things that help us to understand how to see signs of someone being a romance scammer when you meet them in person. I may have to put some together myself and just kind of go through my own compiled list, but I was hoping to find some material on more so kind of like someone that you meet in person that is has these same characteristics, but I feel like they're even a little bit more of a danger because they don't mind seeing you in person and just keeping up this facade as long as they need to continue to get whatever it is, extract whatever they're trying to extract out of you. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut off right here for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, I'd like to ask that you please make comments and tell me what you think. Like, tell me, I gave you one of my stories. That's not even the only one. That one of my stories. So I gave you one of my stories. Feel free to give me any of your stories. Feel free to tell me what you think. Feel free to tell me if you agree, if you disagree. No, the only thing that I do ask is that you be polite. That you be polite. We don't always have to agree. That's fine, but please be polite, because I'm always going to try to be very polite and accommodating and pleasant to you, my viewer. So I want to thank you again. Thank you so much for tuning in to the video, and I will see you next time. Bye.